And the last thing I will never buy again is, if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new here, my name is Lucy. In today's video, I will be going over my no buy list. These are things that I have decided not to buy again. I think being intentional with your spending is the most rewarding experience. You're able to tell yourself what you should and should not buy and things that you're just completely going to avoid. This is important because it allows you to be in control of your money. And let's be honest here, earning money is not easy. It's a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of hours. So the least you can do is spend your money intentionally. And you can spend your money on things that can bring you long-term happiness and invest in your future. These things could be traveling, spending time with your friends and family. I realized that there's just things that I don't really need in my life anymore. Money is one of the reasons why I've decided not to buy a few of these things. I also want to live with less. I feel a lot less stressed and anxious when I have less stuff. Personally, I am someone who does move around pretty often, moving to new cities, new apartments, and the most I've stayed in one apartment is a year and a half. So I constantly need to decide what is important enough for me to bring with me and what are things that I can just let go of. And this brought me to realize that I really don't need that much stuff. There are a few essential things that I need to take with me everywhere, like my passport, some essential clothes, some makeup, my electronics. There isn't really a bunch of things that I need to take with me everywhere I go. And because of all these constant moves for me, I've decided that I want to only keep things that bring me joy or add value to my life. I think it's important for everyone to also figure out a no-buy list. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect 100% of the time. It's just important to know that materials things sometimes don't bring ultimate happiness. So I've made this list of things that I've decided I will not be buying anymore. And I don't really own a lot of very highly valuable things. I think the most expensive thing I probably own is my MacBook in an older version. So it's not like I own the latest technologies and the latest fashion or anything like that. I live a pretty simple and minimalistic lifestyle. So now I'll move right into the list of things that I will not buy anymore. Either because I have enough of it or because I just don't want to buy it anymore. The first is things that fill up empty space. Like for example, a piece of art for the wall or a table for the area that's empty. I also feel better when it's a lot less cluttered. I have a clear mindset. The next item is stop buying motivation. Basically, things that motivate me to do something is not very healthy at all. So what I mean by this is, for example, buying sports bra, leggings, or a brand new pair of workout shoes just so I can motivate myself to work out. I used to do this very often, but that's not a good habit because you're constantly in the cycle of needing to buy new things so that you can work out more. So breaking that habit is very important. I decided that I'm not going to buy new pots, pans, bowls, plates, or any new kitchen equipment to motivate myself to cook. This gets me into a very bad habit of constantly need to buy new items to feel motivated to cook. I'd rather just feel motivated to cook or work my way through the motivation of cooking instead of buying things that will trigger me to cook more. Because I'll be stuck in this constant cycle of needing to buy new things for the kitchen, and that's going to be very expensive. The next thing I don't buy anymore is a double of something. I used to do this pretty often where I like to buy 2 pairs of jeans if I love those pairs of jeans. At the end of the day, I just have 2 identical jeans. I don't think there's any point in getting 2 identical jeans, do the same job when one of them works perfectly fine. If I needed to buy a second pair because my first pair ripped or if I lost it, then that is a valid reason to buy another pair. The next thing I stopped buying is things when I am bored. I would like to browse the internet and all the shopping sites to see if there are any deals. I will be browsing just to browse, no reason. I have no intentions of buying anything. bad idea. Same goes for going into a physical store. I love browsing Target. Even when I don't have anything to buy, I would go through the stores just to browse and see if there's anything that looks interesting. And I end up buying things that I didn't plan on. So decided that I'm not going into the store or going onto the website to look at clothes unless I know I need to buy something. The next thing is coffee. Now I haven't eliminated it completely because I actually still enjoy going to the coffee shop or grabbing coffee once in a while with a friend or a coworker. So I'm fine with going once or twice a month. It's better than what I used to do, which is a few times a week. And I think I prefer just making my own coffee nowadays. I think it tastes a lot better and it's just easier and saves me so much more money by doing that. The next thing is no more new technologies. So I typically don't buy anything new unless it's broken. For example, if my phone is cracked because I dropped it, then I'll probably need a replacement. Or if I lost my phone somehow, dropped it in the water where I can't use it anymore, yeah, that's a valid reason for me to go buy a new phone. But if it's in perfectly working condition, I just try to stay away from needing to buy a new phone. And the same thing goes for my other electronics. My MacBook Pro works perfectly fine. It is an older version. I think it's a 2017 version, but it still works fine, has a lot of life in it, so I won't be switching that out for a new one. Other things include my camera, which is what I'm using here. I mean, I recently bought it. I don't think I will be switching out for a new one. I think it works perfectly fine. And I pretty much have all the electronics I need. There isn't anything else I need to upgrade or buy of that will satisfy my life or bring me much more joy. Maybe if something comes along that I think will add a lot of value to my life, I may consider buying it, but as of now, I feel very satisfied with what I currently have. If my phone breaks or if my computer stops working, I'd rather save it for an actual emergency than to just buy one and not have enough money for the emergency if it comes up. The next item is no new subscriptions. So I don't have too many subscriptions. The only one I really have is Amazon, and even that I'm thinking about getting rid of because I don't use it enough to justify the annual fees. I don't have any other subscriptions, like I don't have Spotify, I don't have Hulu, I don't have Netflix. Just don't feel the need to have any of these subscriptions because I don't use it that often, so I feel like it wouldn't make any sense. Now, I have had these subscriptions in the past before, and I have unsubscribed to them because I realized that it's just not worth my money to keep it when I don't use it that often. Think about things that maybe you don't use anymore. Like, do you really need Pandora and Spotify? Do you need both of those? Do you really need Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus? Like, are you using all three of them? Maybe if there's something that you don't use as often, you can consider cutting that out for yourself. It saves you $10 a month, but that adds up to like $120 a year, and in 10 years that's like $1,200. Now, if it's 5 to 10 different subscriptions, obviously that does add up. The next item is makeup beyond my daily use. And what I mean by this is that occasionally Sephora does have these amazing deals. Maybe there's a new beautiful eyeshadow palette that I just have to get because it looks gorgeous. But I end up never using it because I resort back to the one that I always use. So I realized that it's just better for me to stick with the products and the brands that I already use and not try anything new because I don't really try things. I feel like I just end up leaving it and it's just wasted. Next is Uber Eats, Postmates, any sort of delivery services I am 100% going to try to avoid. It's so easy and simple, especially during the pandemic, to just click a button and order something to eat. And I've done this pretty often before. I realized that's a bad habit, so cutting that out completely. Either just take the time out of my day to go to the restaurant and eat, or just pick up the food so that way I can at least get some fresh air, take a break from work. I'm gonna get into a better habit of either, picking up food or just cooking my own food at home. And I get to decide exactly what I want to eat. And the last thing I will never buy again is makeup wipes. In the past, I've gotten way too used to using makeup wipes, but it's not only expensive, also so bad for the environment. So I've decided that I'm just going to not ever buy that again. I don't need a fancy napkin to wipe off all the makeup. I can just use a makeup cleanser or makeup removal face wash. It cleans my face perfectly fine. Now that is it. These are the things I've decided I will not buy ever again. Now obviously don't deprive yourself of your own happiness. If any of these things or any of the things on your list makes you genuinely happy and brings you joy, keep it on your buy list. If things you realize aren't really bringing you the happiness you want, then buy less of it. Your list may be as long as my list, but that doesn't mean you need to 100% always be perfect with following through. If occasionally you want to get an extra cup of coffee this month, then go ahead and do that. There's no reason to deprive yourself of your joys. It's really just limiting yourself to things that don't bring you any joy. That's the whole reason of creating this no buy list. It's something that we all have to kind of discover for ourselves. Now my no buy list may be different next year based off of a lifestyle that works best for you. And the whole reason for doing this is just to be more intentional with spending money, figure out exactly what brings you joy and putting your money and efforts to that thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have a no buy list, leave it in the comments below. I do want to hear what are things that you decided you will never buy again. And if you enjoy videos about personal finance, investing, and money habits, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I do post videos every single week. Check out these videos here on personal finance.